Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Marin English Lab. I'm Olivia, and today we're exploring one of the most deceptively simple, yet profoundly important questions in professional English. Tell me about yourself. Whether you're facing a high-stakes job interview, a networking event in London or New York, or even building connections in a cross-cultural setting, this question is your golden opportunity to shape first impressions. According to numerous career studies and recruiter surveys, it's asked in over 90% of interviews, often within the first 60 seconds. And here's the fascinating part. Your answer doesn't just inform. It activates what psychologists call the halo effect, that powerful cognitive bias where one strong initial impression colors the entire perception of your confidence, likability, and potential.
Hi, Olivia, and hello to all our listeners and viewers. I have to admit, even after years of coaching professionals, this question still makes me pause. It feels so open-ended, almost like being handed a blank canvas and told to paint your entire career in 2 minutes without spilling any paint. Why do you think interviewers love it so much? Is it really just an icebreaker, or is there deeper psychology at play?
That's such a sharp question, Liam, and exactly why I love co-hosting with you. It's far more than an icebreaker. Harvard Business Review has highlighted that interviewers already know your CV inside out. What they're really seeking is how you curate your story, your communication skills, self-awareness, relevance to the role, and emotional intelligence. The halo effect, first described by psychologist Edward Thorndike over a century ago, means that if you come across as confident, articulate, and culturally attuned right from the start, interviewers unconsciously assume you'll excel in other areas too. The reverse is equally true. A rambling or overly modest answer can create a negative halo that's difficult to shake off.
Fascinating. So it's not just about what you say, but how the brain processes it. Let's break it down for our audience across A1 to C1 levels. For beginners, what's the absolute foundation?
Let's start with the core structure that works beautifully in both British and American English. I call it the present-past-future bridge. Begin with your current role or situation. Link back to relevant past experiences that explain why you're here today, and then pivot forward to your future aspirations, tying everything to the company or opportunity. It's concise, ideally 60 to 90 seconds, and it shows strategic thinking rather than just listing facts.
I see. But culture changes everything, doesn't it? As someone who's worked with Japanese professionals moving into UK or US roles, I've noticed striking differences. In Japan, self-introductions often emphasize humility, group harmony, or wa, and respect for collective achievement. It's relational and deeply respectful. In the UK, we tend to lean into understatement and self-deprecating humor. Americans, on the other hand, are more direct and achievement-oriented. How do we navigate these without losing authenticity?
You've hit the nail on the head, Liam. This is where the conversation gets really rich. In British professional culture, modesty is prized, boasting feels crass. A subtle, "I was fortunate to contribute to a team that" lands better than "I single-handedly increased revenue by 50%. In the US, confidence and quantifiable impact are expected. It's perfectly natural to highlight personal wins. Japanese culture often blends humility with a strong sense of group harmony. Mentioning your university, team contributions, or even a community project can humanize you beautifully. But in a Western interview, it needs careful framing so it doesn't overshadow professional relevance. The art is cultural intelligence, reading the room and adapting without erasing who you are.
I once had a Japanese client who opened with, "I come from a family that values education and teamwork, and I've always respected hard work within the group." Lovely sentiment. But the British interviewer looked slightly puzzled until we reframed it as, "Growing up in a family that valued education and collective effort taught me the importance of clear communication and team synergy, skills I've applied in leading projects across international teams." Suddenly, the halo effect kicked in positively.
Exactly. Let's move to practical examples. We'll role-play 3 levels: foundational A2, B1, intermediate B2, and advanced C1 to show progression. Liam, shall we start with a typical marketing coordinator interview in London? I'll be the interviewer.
Ready?
Hello, Liam. Thanks for coming in today. To kick things off, could you tell me a bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm Liam. I'm from Tokyo. I studied marketing at university. After that, I worked for 2 years as an assistant in a digital agency. Now I'm looking for a new role because I want to learn more about international campaigns. I like working with teams, and I'm very organized. In the future, I hope to work for a company like yours.
Solid foundation, Liam. Polite, relevant, no rambling. But notice how it's a bit flat. Let's elevate it to be two-level with better flow and collocations.
Absolutely. I'm currently a digital marketing specialist with 4 years' experience in Japan's fast-growing e-commerce sector. After graduating with a degree in business communications, I joined a local agency where I managed social media campaigns that boosted client engagement by 35%. What I particularly enjoyed was collaborating with cross-functional teams to turn data insights into creative strategies. I'm now keen to bring that hands-on expertise to a more international environment like yours, where I can contribute to global brand storytelling while continuing to develop my skills in AI-driven marketing analytics.
Much stronger, you have used boosted by cross-functional teams, data insights, and a natural forward-looking close. Now, for C1 level, let's add storytelling, subtle humor, and deeper self-awareness.
Well, if I'm honest, my journey into marketing began rather unexpectedly on the bustling streets of Tokyo during a university internship. I was supposed to be analyzing market data, but I found myself captivated by how a simple storytelling campaign could transform a local brand into a regional success story. That experience, combined with 3 years leading campaigns at a mid-sized agency, where we increased quarterly revenue by 42% through targeted content strategies, has shaped me into someone who thrives at the intersection of creativity and data. Today, I'm particularly excited about opportunities at companies like yours that prioritize sustainable innovation, because I believe my blend of cultural adaptability and analytical rigor can help drive meaningful growth. And between you and me, I still sneak in the occasional street food photography project. It keeps my creative instincts sharp.
Brilliant. You wove in a personal hook, quantifiable impact, company alignment, and light, self-deprecating humor. That's the kind of response that creates a powerful positive halo.
Thank you. But what if the context isn't a formal interview? How do we adapt for networking events or even casual conversations where the same question arises?
Excellent point. In networking, you can afford a touch more personality. In the UK, you might say, I'm a recovering spreadsheet addict who somehow turned data obsession into a career in strategy consulting. In the US, it could be more upbeat. I'm the guy who geeks out over consumer psychology and has helped 3 startups scale from zero to hero. For Japanese learners speaking to international audiences, blending humility with quiet confidence works wonders. Perhaps coming from a dynamic metropolis like Tokyo, I've always been driven by team harmony and long-term value, which is why I now focus on purpose-driven marketing. The key is relevance and brevity. Nobody wants your full autobiography.
Speaking of pitfalls, what are the most common mistakes that even advanced speakers make? I've seen brilliant professionals undermine themselves here.
There are 3 big ones. First, reciting the CV chronologically. It's boring and shows no strategic thinking. Second, being overly humble to the point of invisibility, which is a cultural trap for many Japanese professionals in Western contexts. Third, ignoring the halo effect by forgetting nonverbal cues, warm eye contact, open posture, and varied intonation. Research shows that within the first 7 seconds, people form lasting impressions largely based on how you deliver your message.
And in today's world of video interviews and AI screening, does the question still hold the same power?
More than ever. AI tools may scan for keywords, but human decision makers still rely on that human connection. The best candidates treat every "tell me about yourself" as a mini pitch that showcases not just skills, but cultural agility and genuine enthusiasm. Before we wrap up, let's summarize the key insights for our audience. First, understand the psychology. Your answer sets the halo. Second, use the present-past-future bridge tailored to the context. Third, adapt to cultural expectations without losing your authentic voice. Fourth, practice until it feels conversational, not scripted. And finally, remember, This isn't about perfection. It's about connection.
Wise words, Olivia. I feel like every listener will walk away with a clearer, more confident approach.
Thank you, Liam. And to all of you watching or listening, you've got incredible stories to tell. The world is waiting to hear them. Now that we've heard these natural examples and context, let's take a closer look at the most valuable language highlighted throughout our discussion. These expressions will help you sound more professional, natural, and culturally aware when answering "tell me about yourself" or similar questions. Halo effect, a cognitive bias where one positive trait influences overall perception, e.g., a confident opening answer can trigger the halo effect and improve how interviewers view your entire candidacy. Curate your narrative, carefully select and shape your story, e.g., learn to curate your narrative so it aligns perfectly with the company's values. Cultural intelligence, the ability to adapt to different cultural contexts, e.g., developing cultural intelligence helps you navigate UK modesty versus US directness. Self-deprecating humor, gently poking fun at yourself, e.g., British listeners often warm to a touch of self-deprecating humor. Quantifiable impact, measurable results, e.g., always include quantifiable impact rather than vague descriptions. Cross-functional teams, groups from different departments working together, e.g., my experience leading cross-functional teams prepared me for this role. Strategic thinking, planning with long-term goals in mind, e.g., interviewers value evidence of strategic thinking in your self-introduction. Present past future bridge, the recommended three-part structure, e.g., master the present past future bridge and your answer will flow naturally. Understatement, deliberately downplaying achievements, e.g., in British English, understatement is often more effective than bold claims. Authentic voice, your genuine personal style, e.g., the goal is to adapt while preserving your authentic voice. Emotional intelligence, awareness and management of emotions, e.g., this question tests both your skills and your emotional intelligence. Tailor your response. Adapt specifically to the situation, e.g., always tailor your response to the job description and company culture. Cognitive bias. Systematic patterns of deviation in judgment, e.g., understanding cognitive biases like the halo effect gives you a real advantage. Purpose-driven, motivated by meaningful goals, e.g., many Japanese professionals excel at highlighting purpose-driven work. Elevator pitch, a short, persuasive self-introduction, e.g., think of your answer as a polished elevator pitch. Cultural agility, flexibility across cultures, e.g., cultural agility is essential in global job markets. Nonverbal cues, body language and tone, e.g., don't underestimate the power of nonverbal cues in reinforcing your words. To help you internalize what we've discussed and develop both your language skills and critical thinking, here are some deeper questions for reflection and practice. 1. Explain the halo effect in the context of job interviews. How might a strong "tell me about yourself" response create a positive halo? 2. Compare the cultural expectations for self-introduction in British, American, and Japanese professional settings. Which elements would you personally adapt? 3. Using the present-past-future bridge, create your own 75-second answer for a specific job you're interested in. Record it and analyze your delivery. 4. What are the 3 most common mistakes when answering this question? How would you avoid them? 5. How would you modify your answer for a networking event versus a formal interview? Give concrete examples. 6. Discuss how AI screening tools and video interviews have changed the importance of this question. 7. In what ways can Japanese learners leverage their cultural background as a strength rather than a challenge? 8. Role-play with a partner. One of you is the interviewer from a British tech firm. The other answers using advanced C1 techniques. Switch roles and give feedback. 9. How does emotional intelligence show through in a self-introduction? Provide an example sentence. 10. Reflect on a time when someone's self-introduction left a strong impression on you. What made it memorable? 11. Why is brevity, 60 to 90 seconds, so crucial? What happens if you go longer? 12. Looking ahead, how might this skill help you in non-professional contexts, such as building international friendships or public speaking? As we conclude the main discussion, Here are the most important insights you should carry forward from today's episode. 1. Tell me about yourself is rarely casual. It's a strategic opportunity to shape first impressions via the halo effect. 2. Use the present-past-future bridge to create a concise, relevant narrative rather than reciting your CV. 3. Cultural intelligence is essential. Balance UK modesty, US confidence, and Japanese emphasis on harmony and respect. 4. Quantifiable achievements and company alignment make your answer stand out. 5. Practice delivery. Tone, pace, and nonverbal cues matter as much as the words. 6. Adapt the same core structure for interviews, networking, or casual settings while preserving your authentic voice. 7. Avoid common pitfalls, rambling, excessive humility, or lack of relevance. 8. This skill builds confidence, cultural agility, and professional presence far beyond any single interview. In the end, mastering the question, "Tell me about yourself," goes far beyond language proficiency. It is an exercise in self-awareness, cultural sensitivity, and authentic storytelling. In a world that increasingly values genuine connection over polished perfection, the ability to present yourself with clarity, confidence, and warmth becomes one of the most powerful tools you can possess. Whether you are stepping into your first international interview, expanding your professional network, or simply learning to express your journey with greater impact, remember this: your story matters. How you choose to tell it, thoughtfully, strategically, and with cultural intelligence, can open doors you never imagined. So take these insights, practice with intention, and most importantly, speak with conviction. The world is listening, and it is ready to be impressed by the unique voice that only you can bring. Thank you for joining us on Marin English Lab. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep sharing your story with the world.
Thank you and goodbye.